Hey guys, Drano Zero, how you doing? Hope all is well in your part of the world, in YouTube land out there. Here in my neck of the woods in southern Ohio, the weather has changed. We're starting to get hot and muggy now, rather than just being cold and frost and freeze alerts just a couple weeks ago. But that's okay. We've been picking strawberries and we've been dealing with our chicks and butchering chickens and getting ready for the blackberries to come on. That'll be the next thing that we harvest in the early summer is blackberries. Looking forward to it and trying to keep ourselves busy. So we're about noontime now or so. I figured I'd sit down and do a quick coffee chat with you guys. You know it. Holy crap. That's some good coffee. Okay, I've got a few questions here, and I really hope that the people who ask these questions watch these coffee chat videos. I never even thought about that when I started doing this. I don't know if this is a good thing or not. I don't know if me answering questions like this is okay. Like I said, I can't do it all in the comment section because I can't keep up with them. So I really hope that whoever asks questions will watch the coffee chat videos and we'll try to get some answers that way. If not, then like I said, I really appreciate you guys helping each other out in the comment sections. If you see somebody's asked a question on a subject that you are knowledgeable about, and by all means, fill them in and let them know your opinions and your advice. So that's awesome. It's to me, the comment section is just another area for us to share information and for you guys to help each other out and share information, and that's awesome. I really like it. I really dig the fact that you guys do that. So kudos to you guys. Bobby wants to know about my creek. Is that a running creek? No, my creek that runs here close to my house. I got a creek across the road, across the hay fields. That's typically got water in it year round. But the creek that runs here close on my property is just a runoff creek in between the hills. When it rains, the water runs down, runs through the creek. We try to collect as much as we can, but you're never going to collect it all. And we do the best we can with the rainwater capture and stuff like that. But that creek of mine, Bobby, is not a constant running creek. I wish it was, but it's not a spring fed or anything like that. It's just catches runoff in between the hills. Let's see. My hydroponics gardening stuff. I had some folks asking where I got the little plastic slotted pots and the clay growing medium. I just did a search on eBay a couple of years back when I got that stuff, and just got it straight from eBay. I just I just typed in clay growing medium or media or clay growing balls or something like that, and then it popped up. Of course, eBay popped up all different kinds, and I just picked the one that was best for me. And the same thing with the pots and stuff like that. That's I got that stuff from eBay. Somebody asked where I got my pheasant chicks from. I got my pheasant chicks from the same hatchery that I got my chicken chicks back in the winter. That's Mountain Healthy Hatchery. It's over by Cincinnati. Superfly, Cincinnati. It's over by Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a really good Mountain Healthy Hatchery. I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description box to that website. They've been a pleasure to work with. They got great customer service, and so far all the chicks that we've gotten have been good, good healthy chicks, and have been good quality stuff. So the next batch of chickens that we're getting from a different hatchery because I want a different breed, but we'll get into that whenever we do that whole next set of chickens. How long does food really last? Was one of the questions I got. And the Low Buck Prepper, Bubba just did a thing about some expired food. And I know Superfly Fat Guy 859, he's done a few videos about food in the cans. I have done a video about some home canned stuff. I made a peach cobbler with some home canned peaches that were canned for 16 years. And first thing first, I am not suggesting or advocating that anybody goes out and uses food that is beyond its expiration date. By no means. even though I do. If the can looks okay and there's not swollen, it doesn't stink and it doesn't look funny when you open up the can, as long as that canned food has been canned properly and stored properly, yes, it can and will still be good to eat for quite some time past its expiration date. Home canned stuff, like I say, as long as you store it in a cool, dry place and you've canned it correctly, it'll last for years and years and years. The same thing with store-bought canned stuff. Just because something is past its expiration date by a couple of months does not mean that it's no longer good to eat. Excuse me. So, but if you do have some stuff that is past its expiration date that's labeled on the can, make sure you check the can real good and check it thoroughly and make sure that there's no odor to it, and so on and so forth. And I use stuff that's past its expiration date quite often, but I'm very careful about it, and I suggest you be very careful about it too. And do some, you can do some searches, some Google searches and some YouTube searches, and there's a lot of information out there about how stuff, how stuff lasts. In an emergency situation, all things are fair game. So there you go. I wish I could be more help on that, but I'm not some expert food storage dude. I'm just a dude, and I'm just telling you this is my opinion. So that's just my opinion. I don't know what else to say about that. I had a dude in Scotland asked me a question. He said that in Europe the U.S. is looked at as being very hostile. We're a very violent society, and we're very hostile towards foreigners and immigrants. And he wanted to know what my opinion was on the cultural bias and stuff. I'm not really quite sure what all that means, but it's true. There's a lot of areas of our country that are very hostile towards anything different, and I think that's just my opinion. That's what it boils down to. Immigrants and foreigners and stuff like that they're just different, and people get set in their ways, and they don't like different things. They're not necessarily afraid of different, but they just don't understand different, and it comes down to an ignorance of sort, where they just don't understand a different culture, how why the people do what they do, why this different culture calls their god a different name or something like that. And it just boils down to people not understanding each other, and it's like that all over the world. I've been to a few other countries that didn't like me because I was from the United States, and it wasn't because I was a bad dude. We won't get into that. It was just because they didn't understand why I did what I did, and I didn't understand why they did what they did. There's so many people who don't like each other simply because of a non-understanding. They just don't understand the culture. People, it's with like religions and stuff. Religions. There's so many religions out there that just don't like other religions, and they're quick to tell these other religions that they're doing it wrong, or they're this, or they're that, or whatever. And it's just because they just don't understand. My opinion, like I said, I'm not I'm not an expert in anything. It's just my understanding. People usually will fear and tend to stay away from things that they don't understand, different cultures that they don't understand, or that they don't want to take a chance or the time to understand. A lot of stuff that I don't understand. But I don't hold it against anybody because I don't understand them and they don't understand me. It just is what it is, and it's just people are people. Sometimes if you find somebody that you think you don't like because of where they're from or what they do or their particular religion, but you sit down and have a cup of coffee with them, turns out they're a good dude or they're a good woman. It just is what it is. Who was it? Gandhi. Gandhi said, everybody in the world is on a path, and just because that person is not on the same path that you're on doesn't necessarily mean that they are on the wrong path. So nowadays I'm a very fluent live and let live. You do your thing, I'll do my thing, and everything will be good. So like I said, it's just my opinion, and I'm by no means an expert in any kind of relation, anything. Just some things that I notice about people who don't understand something, then they think they don't like it because they don't understand it, and is what it is. Somebody asked me about when my life changed. Yes, I do have a history. I'm not going to get into any of my history or my past because who I was is not who I am. Um, but what I will say is, several years ago, I got to the point to where I felt like I was missing something. No matter how much I was doing, no matter how much wads of money you had laying around, no matter how many motorcycles you had parked in the driveway, or girlfriends and wives, I always felt like I was missing something and I could never figure out what was. And there comes a time when you have to decide what is really important to you as an individual and your life as an individual life, what really matters and what really drives you. And for me, that was my family. And in order to become a better family man and a better father and a better provider, I turned to God. I'm a Christian, and I turned to Jesus to help me teach my kids and help me learn how to be a better dude and how to provide and how to keep my family at the top of my priority list, and to get me up every day and get me motivated to grow the garden and raise the animals and stuff like that, to keep our family fed and keep our family safe and to keep our family functioning. So I know that's not a lot of detail, but that's a really long story. Some of it I don't really want to get into because of the past, the life that I lived. But I will tell you that that came to a time where I made a choice, and I chose my family over everything else. I chose to try to be a good dude versus what I was in the past. And it was very, very frightening for me. I had done, in my opinion, I had done so much bad that there wasn't enough good that I could do to help me out. And I know a lot of people are in that same boat now. I was really afraid, I figured if I walked into the light, so to speak, I was really afraid of what I was going to find inside the light and how I was going to be judged or any of that kind of stuff, if that makes sense. I was afraid of good because I was so used to bad. And once I did it and I went for it, and now I learned to never, ever, ever be afraid of good, man, because good it's just that, it's good, and it makes you feel good, and good things happen. And I am so happy and so thankful to God every day that I made that decision to change, and I never regret it, and I'll never look back. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not quite sure it did, but like I say, that's a long story. But anywho, enough about that stuff. And do I still use my e-cigarette? I do. I will admit very grudgingly that I have fallen off the wagon a bit. I have not started smoking cigarettes again, but I do puff on my pipe more than what I should. And I'm going to make a concerted effort again to try to work on that. Nicotine addiction is a very bad thing, hard thing to kick. So I'm doing the best I can. I kind of, like I say, I fell off the wagon. I still have my e-cigarette and I still use it, but I don't use it as much as I used to. And I'm going to try to get myself back, to using the e-cigarette more. It happens. I'm human. I'm a dude. Sometimes you try and you do the best you can, and you just kind of fall off the wagon. It happens. So sorry, but at the same time, I'm going to try to do better, and it is what it is. It's a long, hard thing to kick an addiction, something like nicotine, and many of you out there can relate to that. So, okay, guys, that's it for now. I hope it wasn't too boring, and I hope these coffee chats help. I'll leave a link to the coffee. Like I say, try to leave a link to the pheasants, where I got the pheasants from, the Mountain Healthy Hatchery, and I will leave a link to the Low Buck Preppers channel and to Superfly Fat Guy's channel. They've done some food videos about how food that lasts, and Bubba did one about how the can looks whenever it's gone bad, stuff like that. It's good. I mean, it's good information to know. So, other than that, you guys have a great day. Holy crap! Enjoy the late spring and the early summer, if that's where it is in the world. I don't know what the world climate is, but anyway, you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. God bless. In the end. Buzz, the end.